Prime Minister Modi today chaired an important meeting on the COVID situation in the country amid concerns of the new variant. Top officials briefed Prime Minister about the new variant Omicron along with its characteristics, impact in various countries and implications for India. Prime Minister Modi asked the officials to review plans for the easing of international travel restrictions in light of the emerging new evidence. He also added that there should be intensive containment and active surveillance should continue in clusters reporting higher cases. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has issued a warning to Southeast Asian nations amid rising concerns over the new strain. WHO has now asked Southeast Asian nations to scale up surveillance, boost public health measures and enhance vaccine coverage. And as the World Health Organization panel termed the variant to be highly transmissible virus and variant of concern, Germany now has detected its first suspected Omicron variant case. In fact, in the wake of a potent threat from the newly found coronavirus, various states are gearing up and preparing their plan of action. Delhi Lieutenant Governor has issued fresh instructions amid concerns over the new variant. LG Anil Baijal has asked to ensure strict adherence to COVID norms at public places. Baijal has also ordered hospitals to be prepared to deal with any emergency situation. Delhi Lieutenant Governor will be chairing a key meeting on Monday with DDMA officials on the Omicron variant. Earlier, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had urged Prime Minister Modi to stop flights from those countries which are affected by the new variant. Maharashtra government too has issued fresh restrictions. While international travellers shall be governed by directions of the centre, domestic travellers shall either be fully vaccinated or carry a negative RT-PCR report of a test which has been conducted not longer than 72 hours prior. Samples of passengers from South Africa will be sent for genome sequencing. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai held a COVID review meeting today where Karnataka Health Minister K. Sudhakar said that the state is equipped with 6 genomic sequence labs and samples of passengers from affected countries will be tested for the new variant. The Gujarat government has also made RT-PCR testing mandatory for travellers landing at the airports in the state from Europe, United Kingdom, Brazil, South Africa, Bangladesh, China, Mauritius, New Zealand, Zimbabwe and Hong Kong. Now, Omicron was discovered in South Africa earlier this month. The Omicron variant of the coronavirus has an already stressed world more worried. Now, this variant is believed to be spreading faster than the Delta variant. Here's more.
Stock markets plummet. Global economy is in a tailspin. World Health Organization calls it a variant of concern. Countries re-implement travel bans. Scientific community says new strain is horrific. It's happening all over again. A new variant of coronavirus, now named Omicron, has set alarm bells ringing across the world. So, with this bolt from the blue, are we back to square one in our fight against COVID-19? Here's what we know about the new variant, Omicron. B.1.1.529 or Omicron was first identified in South Africa. The World Health Organization has classified it as a variant of concern now. Scientists say the new variant carries a high number of mutations in its spike protein. In the new variant, there were 50 mutations overall with more than 30 on the spike protein. This is what the World Health Organization has had to say about this variant.
Based upon the information that we have, particularly from South Africa, they have advised WHO that this variant should be classified as a variant of concern. So today we are announcing B.1.1.529 as a variant of concern named Omicron.
Where did it come from? The new strain Omicron, a B.1.1.529, was first identified or detected in South Africa. There have been close to 100 fully confirmed cases in the Gauteng province of South Africa. A theory suggests that this new variant is likely to have evolved during a chronic infection of an immunocompromised person. Is the new variant more lethal then? Researchers are trying to confirm whether the new variant with 50 mutations is more transmissible or lethal. The WHO has called for caution in the initial stages of dealing with this variant. It could affect transmissibility, disease severity, immune escape, diagnostic or therapeutic escape. It can also cause community transmission or clusters. This variant has a large number of mutations, some of which are concerning. Preliminary evidence suggests an increased risk of reinfection with this variant. How many cases of the new variant have been recorded then? Well, there have been 77 fully confirmed cases in the Gauteng province in South Africa. There are indications that show that 90% of cases in Gauteng may already be of this variant. Alarm was also raised after cases recorded in South Africa jumped from 200 to 2,465 within 7 days. The number of cases of this variant appears to be increasing in almost all provinces in South Africa. Researchers are still looking into the data on deaths caused by the variant. The rise comes following weeks of relatively low transmissions. 4 cases have been reported in Botswana and 2 in Hong Kong. Israel and Belgium have also detected cases of the new COVID-19 variant. Will the Omicron variant dodge immunity provided by vaccines is the question that everyone is now asking. Scientists are researching on how effective existing vaccines might just be against this new variant. The WHO has said there is little information on that matter. Breakthrough infections have been reported in South Africa among people who have received the Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer-BioNTech and Oxford's AstraZeneca vaccines. No deaths have been recorded as of yet. The 2 travelers in Hong Kong who tested positive were vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine. What are the other variants of concern then? The WHO had designated 4 other variants of concern called the Alpha, the Beta, the Gamma and Delta variant. The WHO added variant Omicron as the 5th designated variant of concern on the 26th of November. How is India reacting to it? India has yet to take the extreme step of a travel ban on South Africa or neighbouring countries from where these cases have been reported. The government, meanwhile, has asked states to rigorously screen and test travellers coming from South Africa, Botswana and Hong Kong. With alarm bells raised, several countries have announced travel bans, while others are tightening border controls in what feels like a never-ending battle against COVID-19.
Now, my colleague Sneha Mordani talks to top virologist Gagandeep Kang on COVID's newest variant of concern, Omicron. Listen in.
How concerned or worried are you about the newest variant of concern, Omicron, that the World Health Organization has spoken about? In fact, the WHO has just said that there must not be any panic around it. But are you genuinely concerned looking at the manner in which it has spread in a handful of countries already?
Yes, it is a variant of concern and it has spread very rapidly. The good thing about it is the fact that since we had the first identification on the 9th of November, we already have a good sense of the sequence data. We know that this is a strain that has mutations unlike the constellations that have been seen previously. So there are chances that it will spread more easily and some chances that it may be able to evade the immune response. Of course, those data are not completely known, but at least based on sequencing, we know that this is something that we need to track very, very carefully.
You know, Professor Kang, do you believe that there is a possibility that this variant would have traveled to more than just a handful of countries beyond Botswana, Israel, beyond Hong Kong and South Africa?
Well, it's already been reported from Belgium and Israel as well as Hong Kong, South Africa, and it was originally reported from Botswana and South Africa. Some of the travelers have been through Malawi, the one that landed up in Israel, and the traveler in Belgium came through Egypt. So it's very possible that this virus may be in many more places than have been detected so far. And it speaks to the importance of making sure that we sequence everything that comes in with travelers.
How important it is for India to ensure quicker and more genome sequencing right now, given that We already know that there is a possibility, and India is concerned already. The Prime Minister's held a meeting on this, that it could have traveled to India as well. What's the need of the hour right now?
I think rapid sequencing, but more than rapid sequencing, the most important thing is to be able to track travelers, to identify people who have come in from other places, and then make sure that we are able to identify anyone who might be infected and where they go. If we have really good testing and tracking, that will allow us to identify those people who are bringing the virus in and help us to make sure that we have a good surveillance system and that we can stop onward transmission of this variant.
You know, Professor Kang, many people may say that this is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but, some countries are already imposing restrictions on travel from these countries where the variant has been found. Do you think it's time for India also do the same? Because better to be safe than be sorry. Would you think?
So when you close borders, how long do you close them for? And how do you make sure that you identify every infection that might potentially come into the country?
Amid the new threat of Omicron, the debate over the need of a booster dose has once again emerged. Here's more on that.
Whether we call it a booster or a third dose or a fourth dose, it's very clear that we need to monitor the immune systems of immunocompromised individuals very, very carefully and make sure that they have some level of response to vaccine. We do need specific vaccination strategies, specific management strategies for them, and so far we have not had that.
There is a need and the time is now. That is the word from India's top vaccinologists, doctors, health experts on the third dose or the additional dose for those with poor immunity. At a time when the world has been confronted with the fifth variant of concern, Omicron, there is a growing demand for boosters in India, hoping it would offer further protection to those with compromised immunity. The government has so far said they're studying the need for the additional dose.
We'll continue to explore the timing and the need for the boosters going along. There are studies that are in the offing. There are studies that are ongoing, in fact, and there is data that's very systematically being tracked.
But the world is in a fix, say experts, and we can't wait, as vaccine hesitancy and complacency are also settling in.
There has been a vaccine hesitancy growing over past 1 month. And rather than having at least 1 crore vaccination per day, we are having 50-60 lakh per day. So we need to escalate vaccination. Number 2, we do not know whether this vaccine will protect this variant or not. And therefore, we need to have newer research and see that this variant is also covered in the vaccination program.
Urgent need of a third dose, which is now being called as a booster dose, but should be a part of the primary immunization. I think the boosters are extremely important in India. We should have a plan, but the fact is we need to be extremely wary and careful with regards to new mutants.
The focus, however, of the government is on the second dose coverage. The Prime Minister on Saturday took a review meeting in which he took stock of the slow pace of the second dose coverage in India that stands at around 45%.
The National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization is all set to meet towards the end of this month to discuss the need for booster doses for the immunocompromised population in India. A decision is obviously going to be depending on the kind of threat India perceives vis-a-vis the fifth variant of concern. A lot is going to depend on how India is analyzing the situation to protect its immunocompromised population in the light of the World Health Organization identifying the fifth variant of concern. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.